Hello and good morning. Each week, I send out an email to the parents of secondary school children on tips for maths, tips for English, and revision ideas. And I sent one out the other day, and quite a few people got back to me saying how helpful it would be. So I thought it'd probably be a good idea to share it with you as well. So I've got myself a few notes here. So if it looks like I'm reading, I apologize, but I didn't want to leave anything out. It's very often not what we need to revise, it's more how we need to revise, which is more of an issue. The teachers might come like say at the end of the lesson, like, tonight's homework is I want you to all go away and revise what we've been doing today, or revise the topics for the test, or whatever it may be. But the stumbling block is how. It's kind of like saying to someone, what should we talk about? It's a conversation killer. And so knowing how to revise is pretty much the same. That's what we need to support our children with. So, so the first thing I'm going to suggest is when we're revising, we use a minimum of 5 different colours, okay? Because apparently that will help open up more neural pathways, making it easier to remember the information. But also on a more practical level, when we actually come back to revise our notes, if you have something that's just black and white and boring to look at, the odds are we're just going to skim through it and ignore it. If we have something that's bright and colourful and cheap and more visually appealing, we're more likely to stop, look, and take note. So it may be that we use colour pens. That's the easiest way. It may be that we use coloured pens on coloured paper. It may be that we just use coloured paper, but the more visually appealing we can make it, the more likely we are to actually go back and look at it, which will help us revise it. If you set yourself a revision timetable, so for example, on Monday, I'm going to do 90 minutes of English. Decide in advance what you're actually going to spend those 90 minutes doing. So you're not just sat there on the Monday, the clock started ticking and you go, right, what shall I do? Um, um, could do that. Yeah, I could do, but I also need to do that. And before you know it, 90 minutes has passed and nothing has actually happened in that time schedule. But the other thing, more importantly, is don't be over ambitious with the time schedules that you set yourself, because you will set yourself up for failure. You'll lose heart and you probably will end up not doing anything. So start to with maybe just committing to do 15 to 30 minutes a day. If that seems like a lot, some days even just committing to do 5 or 10 minutes a day is better than doing nothing. And very often, once you've got started, you'll find that once you're in the flow, you just keep going. It's the actual effort of getting started that's the hard part. But just commit to saying, okay, today my goal is to do 15 minutes and I'm going to make my revision notes on Macbeth or um, Dr. Jekyll or Romeo or whoever it is, and you just create yourself. Made me spend 10 15 minutes doing a mind map with the name or an image of the character in the middle and then the different quotes around the outside using bright different colors. Once you've done that, you're off. Okay, that works for English. Or maybe you've decided that you're going to be doing maths. So, okay, I'm going to do volume of a cylinder today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by making myself a colourful um, visual reminder of what the actual formula is. And then I'm going to find half a dozen different questions, perhaps on Corbett Maths, perhaps from asking Chat GPT, anywhere, maybe from your maths book or wherever. It really doesn't matter. Spend the rest of the time you're working through your revision, just kind of doing pet questions to test yourself, or watch a YouTube clip, or however it is that you revise best. And don't forget that you don't actually need to be sat at a desk in order to revise. Where do you feel the most comfortable? I mean, some people will like music playing in the background or the TV on or something. Others will prefer it to be peaceful, quiet, and away from any distractions. Have everything around you that you're going to need before you start. So if you kind of think, okay, I'm going to be doing Macbeth and I'm going to do the quotes on that character. Okay, so I've sat myself down. I've got a pen. Bother, I need my other colours. So off you go get colours. Okay, sit down, ready to start. Need my book. Okay, off you go. Where did I leave it? And again, before you know it, the time that you've actually committed has just been wasted because you've spent that time looking for stuff. In an ideal world, what you might do is have perhaps an additional pencil case or something with your revision stuff in, so that I know I'm here if I've got pencil, coloured pens, rubber highlighter, whatever else it is I need. All I need to grab is my Macbeth book and some paper to write on. Job done. Okay, perfect. Let's get started. So make sure that you have everything that you need before you start. Another method of revision is reading. Read anything, but try, it can be anything at all, but do try to spend some time every day reading, because it will help you on so many levels with your creative writing, with your vocabulary, with your spellings, with your grammar, etc., etc. The list goes on. And if you can't bring yourself to read personally, if that feels like too much effort, try audiobooks. Okay. And the other thing is English. A lot of people can't say, well, why am I ever going to need this? But English seems to be a test on analysis. It's not just accepting things at face value. It's kind of like questioning why they're using that language. What is it they're trying to persuade you? What is it they're trying to tell you about that character? So get used to asking questions about things, get used to analyzing things. So, for example, when you're watching the news, what is it that they're trying to persuade you? What angle are they coming from? And just think of what it is that they're trying to, the message that they're trying to convey when you see a photo of someone perhaps in the paper or in the news. What is it, why have they chose that photo? What is it that that photo is trying to tell you? Look at newspaper headlines. Think about the techniques that they've used, such as alliteration and exaggeration and stuff, for it to make it appealing to the reader, that actually makes them want to read it, because these are different techniques that you can pick up and put into your English when you come to write it. And if there's days when you can't be bothered with revision, like I say, just watch 10 minutes of YouTube or something on the area that you had actually intended revising, because you are still learning, but it's a whole lot less effort than actually having to write notes and read things and stuff. So just have your phone, have your laptop, whatever it is that you use, and sit with YouTube. If you can be bothered, write yourself some notes as you watch. Stop, pause it, repeat it, whatever. Don't just let the day pass. Well, I was talking to a girl the other day, and what we suggested she did, because she's only got 14 days to her exam, is she's going to create a table with the just 14 boxes in. And each day that she revises, she puts a cross, and she's not to break the link. So she's got to try and put a cross in every day up until her exam. After 10 days, or after 5 days, after 10 days, or whatever, she rewards herself with something small if there's no break in the chain. So it could be just she persuades her parents that she doesn't have to empty the dishwasher on that evening as her reward, or she gets to choose what's on TV, or she gets a whatever it is. It doesn't need to be something expensive. It can just literally be something small to acknowledge the fact that she's put in the effort. Use a variety of resources to revise. YouTube, we've mentioned, creating mind maps, looking at past papers and their mark schemes. You can get a lot of model answers on MME. You can ask ChatGPT for model answers as well to help you learn how to structure it and different sentence openers and things. I've created some sentence openers with the grammatical terminology. If you want it, I'll pop the link below so you can download it. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they said that they used to put post-it notes on the back of their bathroom door so that while they're brushing their teeth or on the loo or whatever, they could spend their time constructively looking at the post-it notes and revision. But have them around your house so that you start to see them in your subconscious, so that they just become natural to you, so they're not alien terms anymore. They're just something that automatically slide into your subconscious when needed. And if you write them for yourself, then all the better, rather than buying kind of like pre-purchased ones. If you do buy pre-purchased ones, the ones you're less familiar with, write those down yourself. And again, use bright, colourful pens in order to do it. Just make it more interesting to look at. So you might probably more inclined to look at it. You've possibly heard me mention this before, but when my lad did his A-level English Lit many years ago, he made all of his quotes into images. So, for example, for Macbeth, is this a dagger I see before me? He drew a dagger, an I, the C, a B, the number 4, and a picture of him. A dagger, I, C, B for me. And for him, the time that it took and the effort it took to create them, and then he had them on flashcards with the quotes and the images on one side, and then he had other ones as kind of like stuck around his bedroom. and we would go for a walk and I would test him on them. But the effort it made in order to create them and then also having them around in his subconscious really helped solidify them in his brain. When it comes to the English literature exam, you're normally told to do point, evidence, analyze, link it back to the question. But what I would actually suggest you do is point. So the environment is partly responsible for creating a suspicious atmosphere in this extract, and then use several pieces of evidence in order to back up your point and analyze them at the same time as you're presenting them. It doesn't need, because doing it like that, it doesn't need to go so deep. So, for example, you might talk about the repetition of street after street and highlights how the whole city is deserted. It's not just an isolated area. Analyze it a bit more deeply, but that gives you the gist of kind of like what you'd need to say. And then within the same point, you might talk about in Jekyll and Hyde, the section that you yearn to see a policeman, or how it's 3 a.m. on a dark winter's morning, and talk about the implications of the fact that it's 3 a.m. and it's dark, the fact that rarely anything good ever happens at night and in the winter, and how it's the end of the seasons, and maybe this is reflecting the end of life as they know it. Because all that evidence and all those points help to create a suspicious atmosphere using the environment. So I've got several points, several bits of analysis to make that one point. And by doing it like that, I'm not having to take the analysis on one point or one piece of evidence so deeply. So I can spread it out. And it's, for a lot of people, it's far easier to structure it like that. And you're also less likely to repeat yourself. And something else that I would also suggest is that you're subtle about your quotes. It's a bit like if you've been given a detention from your teacher, you don't want to come home from school and do a broadcast, an announcement to your parents that, hey, mum and dad, guess what? I've got been given a detention today. You'd much rather discreetly drop it into conversation. You've got to tell them, but you don't want to make a big deal out of them. And doing your quotes is pretty much like that. You want them to run smoothly. You just want them to flow within the actual answer. And like I said before, if you struggle with sentence openers, there will be a link below where I've created two or three different sentence openers for is you can use it in English language paper 1, question 2, but it would probably also work for English language paper 2, AQA question 3. And it relates different sentence openers for different grammatical techniques that you can use should you want to. I hope that helps. I hope that helps a lot. Any questions, please do get in touch. And good luck with all your revision. Good luck.